Hi, thanks for reaching out. And thanks for your compliments on the video. I always love making the videos, but I never hear back from people. So I'm glad to hear that it's working for somebody. The topic that you have is developing as we speak. So we might have to tease it out a little bit, like looking at our article and then going into it and seeing if there's evidence for what you're looking for. So if you're having a tough time finding stuff, I did too. So let me show you a couple strategies. And I have a couple things to send to you. So the first thing is choice of keywords. Next one is choice of databases that we go into. And then the rest of it is just kind of luck and like cruising the web, asking AI questions. Let me start with that one. So if we go to Google Gemini, do the Republicans favor AI in a particular way? So what we're doing is we're looking for keywords. So we would never want to like cite this, right? We would want to use the keywords like regulation or economic growth or innovation, national security. So you can see where a conservative might be interested in supporting AI. And you could ask the same question. So like regulation, that's actually a pretty good one. I'm going to add that to my keyword list. But you can say do, and instead of Democrats, I'll do liberals. Do liberals favor AI in a particular way? So a lot of people are picking on things, so primarily like education. And we want to look for like what people are favoring, because this is what you would support if you were making policy in a legislation. So, there's concern. What do they favor? They favor being concerned about it. Regulation, protection of workers' rights, privacy, deep security. Okay, that's interesting. So none of this is evidence because, well, there's like articles, but it goes to just like non-scholarly things, trends, research, and advisory. I was doing a search for this, and one of the articles that they cited in Gemini was, let's talk to this, what we think is a really bright high school student. So that's not necessarily evidence-based. It's the opinion of a high school student. So be that as it may, how do we approach this? Go to the library home and make sure that you're logged in for your off-campus. If you're not on campus, you have to log in. Or you can log into CIS or Canvas. As long as you have to do that Duo authentication thing, then you'll be into our subscription wrapper. Go to Advanced Catalog Search. And then in here, the more keywords that you put in, so that think of this as having access to 70 to 100 million different things. And you can only search them by correctly spelled words. Or if you speak, or if you're looking for like words that are not often used, make sure and spell them correctly. The one that pops into my head is skibbity. If you misspell skibbity, then none of the articles are going to show up. But if the authors misspelled it, then you're good to go. So what I started out with, here you can see, oh, here we go. So I wanted to look up argument. So that's like rhetoric, the words that people use, the frames, discourse, argument, debate. And then I did artificial intelligence. What we have here is when I'm looking in the library catalog, out of those 70 million things, I wanted to find this word, and then I put the or. So if I don't know which word to use, it'll grab each one of those. If it's more than one word and I want them stuck together like a sentence or a quote, you put those in quote marks. And what it's going to do, let me show you an example. I'm going to copy this, get rid of it for a second. So say, for example, I'm only looking for rhetoric, discourse, or argument, or debate in the title of an article. So we get 2 million things. But, oh, by the way, if you do a search and your search disappears, that's where that is. But if I throw in a context in a second line, artificial intelligence, it goes from 2 million down to 9,000. And then if I add policy or law, that's another concept. So we go from 9,000 down to 955. So this is kind of the basics of where I started. Since you're doing a literature review, I highly recommend going to peer-reviewed journals, because typically in research methods classes, they want you to find original research where somebody's conducted a survey, analyzed all of legal documents, they've done interviews, et cetera, et cetera. So this one's pretty good. Public influence on policymakers, policy discourse. It seemed to me that policy was the magic word. So I'll send you my keywords that I sent. So here's what I used. I'll send you these keywords. So I found that policy discourse and argument was a dead end. But if we focus specifically on policies as the first line, that was really good. And then for artificial intelligence, there's different names for it. So I did large language model. I got that from you, generative AI. And I also had ChatGPT or artificial intelligence or AI. And then I went to the title. So it's not searching the body of everything, but it's just going straight to the title. 19,000, but if you go to peer-reviewed journals, this is where you're going to get some of the things, and you might have to glean through and look and see what's going on. So university policies, policies from Africa or China. Bard, that's an old one. It's called Google Gemini now. One thing that I ran into was I couldn't find the divisions that you were looking for, like liberal or conservative. So in the next line, I threw that in there. But instead of looking in the title for those, I had that just be somewhere in what's called the metadata. So it could be the title, the abstract, the subject, the keywords, typically not the full text, but it's like the words that describe it. And then it narrowed down to a sustainable 44. And this is where I started to get some good one. Political biases of ChatGPT. Ding, ding, ding. Measuring ChatGPT. Political polarization. That one's really good because they're describing some of the outcomes and maybe who supports what. Okay. These are pretty good. I'm going to send you my keywords that I did, but I'm also want to advise you on a couple of databases. So I found a couple articles that I think are pretty good, but I think this search is really great too. But I'll send you the citations and the links to a couple of these just to see if it's something that you want to get started. If you find one that you really like, though, go down to the keywords that they use, and in databases and in the library catalog, you can click on that and it will change it and it will search for that. There's only one. Let me show you another database. Da-da-da-da. So my recommended databases are, there's one called PAIS. So political science databases would be good too. Do you know how to find those? You just go database by subject and scroll down to political science and public administration. This one's pretty good. Let's try that one. PAIS is actual public policy that's been made. And let's go do that same search. Actually, since we're in a political science database, let's just see what happens when we get AI. There's a lot of overlap in the databases. 18,000 articles. Let's come up to our current decade. This database is kind of slow. There we go. Living and working, authoritarian data, overcoming racial harms. So this one we might actually have to modify the search and put in those delineations or labels or identifications of a party. And then you can go into the title, you can go into the subject. Oh my gosh, this database is slow. There we go, presidential election, the possum poll. It's a great name. Can states learn to govern before it's too late? Like I said, it's kind of early, you might have to glean. So for this one, you might have to go in and look and see what states are having progressions or digressions. Let me show you one last database. So PAIS is really good. Another one is a business database called Business Source Premier. This one obviously might be the conservative, Republican, or business-friendly politics. But for your scholarly, your lit review, go to Scopus or Web of Science. They both do the same thing, or similar things. And let's redo that search. And policy or policies. And I'm going to have this one be in the abstract. Add a search field. Here's my AI. Subject, subject, subject. Oh, sorry, abstract. When you search in Scopus or Web of Science, oh, let's add one more field, since there's so many to pick from. Scopus and Web of Science are like the high end. This is like the luxury, the premier level of journals. Imagine there's tens of thousands of journals. These are the ones that have the highest impact. What you can do in these is see the best of the best, but you can also sort by which one has been cited the highest. What that means is this article called The Political Biases of ChatGPT, since it was published only like a year or so ago, 147 articles couldn't exist unless they cited the information that this was found. So Scopus is a great place to land after you've figured out your keywords. So you can go in and find that article. You can click on this, find it, and it'll go back to the library catalog and you can grab it from one of these databases. But since 2023, if this article really fits the bill, you can click on these and then you can order those by number of times cited. So some of these are like reviews and conference papers. Those aren't the real deal. But if you see article, then you're good to go. Depends on what your instructor's interested in, but they might take conference papers and articles too. But beware. Whew. Let me know how it goes, and I'm happy to help. Great topic, and I hope you have a lot of fun. If you get frustrated, email me, and I'll help you get into the nuances of a bunch of different things. It's kind of a subtle search.